I'm okay with it.
Hello there, welcome to Chipola College Television. This is Chipola Athletics Today. I have a couple of basketball coaches here. Some of them you should know them by now if you've been watching our channel a bunch, all watching our web page here on Chipola. Who is this right here?
Brett Campbell, good
Brett,
to see you.
how you
boys.
doing? And this
Yeah.
is?
Brendan Foley.
Have you taught him anything about Chipola since you've been here a long time?
Trying to. I'm trying to.
Is the cultural shock over coaching? Oh, that's right, you don't have a cultural shock because you came from Valdosta one time.
Well, I've been in a few small towns and really nice environments, and this is one of the best environments I've been in. And it doesn't take you long to realize the tradition of Chipola. The people are extremely friendly and eager to help you. And fortunately, I walked into a guy, Brendan Foley, who'd been here already 3 years, so he kind of knew the lay of the land and the way around the campus, and he's been pointing me in the right direction most of the time.
Well, now the kids come by here. We're in the studio here on campus, and the kids come right by here going to class. And Coach, you got some monsters.
Well, we are. We're excited about them. We got a good group of guys. Number one, I'm really excited about the character of our players. It seemed like a mature group. Really focused and on and off the court. So we're excited about those guys.
Well, I asked them, I said, how you like my new coach? All of them say, well, we don't know him really good yet. I don't know what that means. Does that mean you haven't pushed him too much yet?
Well, maybe not yet, but
Not yet.
We'll all get to know each other pretty well.
Brandon, how does our talent stack up with years past?
I think it's as good as it's ever been. I like our depth. Got a couple good returners and brought some transfers in. So
Where are the transformers from?
got one from Clemson.
Oh, good.
Yep. Got one from George Mason,
Right there.
and then one more from Rice University.
What do they play? Big men or?
No, Patrick from Clemson's a shooting guard. Eric Lockett's from George Mason. He's kind of a all-purpose guy, but he could probably play the 1 through the 4 if we asked him to. And then Maurice Rivers is from Rice University, and he's kind of a wing.
Yeah. Well, people are listening to you, and you say 1 through 4 or the wing. If they're not coaches or real basketball fans like I am, but they don't know what you're talking about. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What does that mean?
Well, the 1 is a point guard. That's kind of your quarterback.
That's the one
of the
that
team.
keeps the ball a lot.
Yep. The 2 is your shooting guard.
Well, why do you say shooting guard?
Just
That's a good name, or does he actually shoot more than one?
hopefully they can shoot him.
He's the
Hopefully they can
three-pointer
make
and the
some
handle
shots
the ball.
for us.
And then
Yeah.
3?
3 is kind of your wing. I mean, usually the 2 and 3 are interchangeable, but I don't think there's much of a difference. And then the 4 by standards is your power forward, but I think in junior college you get away with maybe playing some smaller guys at that position, and then the 5 is usually your center.
Big guy that can put it against the glass.
Yep.
Well, last year and the year before and the year before and the year before, sometimes you look out there and there's nobody over 6'2" or 3.
Right.
Is that because we needed to hold the ball or keep somebody from scoring, or?
Well, I think it's game by game, just matchup. In the past we've had guys that are 7 feet, and then some years we've had guys that are 6'6" playing that position. So
Yeah.
every team's got a different identity and personnel. And like I said, just game by game, I think it kind of.
Well, since you know the best conference in the nation here lately, because we're winning
Yep.
at everything, how do you think this team's going to do against those kind of guys? It's going to be tough.
Yeah, but that's what we're going to brand ourselves on, toughness. And I think these guys are up for the challenge, and they're hungry, and they come in every day and work hard, and I think they have what it takes, and they all want to be successful. So I think that's the most
Well,
important
they
thing.
smile
It
a
starts
lot.
with them.
That's what I mean. Being an educator of a long time, you can look at a kid and tell what's in his heart very quickly, especially the way he acts. Losing is part of the game, but winning is a lot more fun, it seems like, to them. And obviously if you work hard. Coach, if somebody called and asked what kind of team do you have, what do
Is
you
that
want?
who's calling right now?
Yeah, it probably is.
Okay.
What would people say about your teams?
Well, I hope, as Brendan said, we want to brand ourselves about toughness.
Yeah.
We want to be as tough a team as anybody's going to face and walk off the floor that we gave everything we had. Now, there may be a situation from time to time that we don't come up on the right end of the scoreboard. We're certainly probably going to lose a few games this year, but I think at the end of the day, if what we'd really like to sell is just toughness. I think we're going to guard very well. You know, again, it's a lot of new players, but the maturity level of them, they've been working extremely hard, and you know, I think they're willing to kind of bear down and work as hard as they can. And you know, obviously our goal is to win a ring here, and they certainly have that in mind every time they step on the floor.
Well, you've had D1 experience and community college experience, and I hear coaches say it's harder to coach at the community college because sometimes you keep them 1 year and sometimes 2, but never long enough to do anything lengthwise.
Sure.
What do you think?
You know, it's an interesting question. I've been asked that, and of course this is my first time coaching junior college, but you have them for a shorter amount of time, so the learning curve has to happen very quickly. Typically you can kind of groom a young man if you have as a freshman or a sophomore, because you're going to have them for 4 years. So you know, we certainly have to teach them a little bit quicker, and maybe not quite in depth as much, and throw too much at them. Keep it a little bit more simpler from that standpoint. But I also think the carrot's right in front of them, because they know it's a short window, you know, for their future and what's going to be determined for the rest of their career. They have to do very well in a short amount of time. And you're right, we may have them just for 1 year. They may be a transfer, they may be a high school qualifier, and possibly we may have them for 2 years. But that carrot's right there in front of them. So I think they realize that, and you know, the motivation is there a lot more too at times.
Being an Alabama guy, basketball has not been anything that we can brag about much. But one time they were in the Final Four, and it was a coach who did not let them shoot unless they were open underneath the basket. And then they were playing one of those teams, Loyola, whoever it is, that runs and guns.
Right.
And within the last 2 minutes, they had a chance to win the game. But nobody liked it because it wasn't moving down the court. So they're going to say you move a lot, right?
Well, I think so. I think we're all in the entertainment business now.
Yes, sir.
You know, people want to come out and see an exciting brand of basketball, and players want to play that way.
Sure.
So, you know, you also have a 30-second clock now that you didn't used to have. So you have to get the ball up the floor and get into your offense. And I think anytime you can get an early shot before the defense gets set, as long as it's an open shot, as you mentioned, I think that will be beneficial to your team.
Transition.
Exactly, on both ends. But you know, transition to the offensive end before you're facing a defense that's sitting there waiting for you. You won't have to grind it out quite as much.
But they say Chipola always has great defense.
Well, I hope that continues to be the case, because I think that is how you win championships. And the number of championships Chipola's won throughout the number of years is amazing. But you don't do that by just offense, high-octane offense. You do it by defense and rebounding and doing the dirty work on a daily basis.
The coach over at now Thomas University over in Thomasville, Georgia, is Cruz, and he didn't average 2 points a game.
Right.
And he never started. But the second half he did.
Mm-hmm.
They would bring him in, and all of a sudden he'd step into that passing lane and he'd be gone with it, and pass it to somebody to dunk it most of the time. But obviously he's going to be a good coach, and you know how he's going to play. He wants to play defense. But obviously, as you said, you got to score 80 points or you're in trouble most of the time.
Well,
what do you like to hold the team to?
You know, our goal has been 60 to 65, where I've been in the past. That's kind of been our team goal. I think anytime now with the 30-second clock, there's going to be a few more possessions. So, you know, 65 would be a great goal. And if you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to win a lot of games at the college level.
Well, it is strange, though. Basketball, sometimes you're on and you three-pointers fall and you're wide open and underneath the basket. Then the next game, it seems like it's not there. Is that because the other team's playing better defense, or is that's just the way it is?
Well, I think that's the way it is sometimes. You know, hopefully you're always trying to strive for consistency, shooting a basketball, and that's why you practice and put an amount of time in getting repetitions up, shooting, whether it's free throws or whether it's three-point shots or underneath. But, you know, there are going to be days that ball's just not going to fall in for whatever reason. So that's why you got to count on defense and rebounding and finishing out possessions, because that you can count on every day. There's no reason that can't happen. That's all effort area. But on the other end, you're right. There's going to be some times that ball's not going to go in for you.
Well, I heard a coach holler on the court, call a name and say, "Shoot the ball." And I said, "Wait a minute, I've never heard a coach say that. Usually they say, pass it." Brandon, do you remember that? No. But that is funny because, you know, if you've got a shooter that can shoot and they're not shooting,
Sure.
You know, but that's
Well,
the way it is.
everybody's got to play their role. You know, at the
Yeah.
end of the day, if everybody plays their role, you know, shooters got to shoot open shots, and the big men got to finish inside. The ball handlers got to get it to the right people. So, but if everybody kind of knows their role, plays it to their ability, I think that's a sign of a good team.
Well, you got 4 or 5 players that have been averaging 20 points a game, and obviously they all can't average 20 points a game. How do you break them? How do you break them to make them so that they'll say 10, 12, I'll be happy?
Well, I don't think we really need to break them. I think they realize that, you know, you've got to share the basketball. You got to make the extra pass, and that's one thing Brendan and I were talking about the other day, that our guys are very unselfish, and that's a good sign early right now that the more unselfish your basketball team is, the better shots they're going to get at the end of the day. So I think they realize they're around some very good players besides themselves, and they want to win. So the goal is make sure the best shot's taken, whoever gets that.
Brandon, can you beat anybody on the team one-on-one?
No.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. We're in for a long year.
Well, I understand your dad teaches free throw shooting.
Right.
I won't ask the next question, okay? I will not ask the next
No, you
question.
can't do
Well,
that.
when he's come, let's do a TV show and let's talk. Let's put him on one of the shows.
Let's do it.
Well, in our next shows, we're going to bring some players in every month between now and November when we actually start playing. I guess that's it. But I appreciate y'all being here, and I appreciate your getting ready.
It's good to be here. We're excited about it.
All right, good.
Thanks for having us.
You seen it right here on Chipola College TV, Chipola Athletics. We're going to have all the coaches doing their usual monthly show. So we're real excited about basketball because we got a new basketball coach here and one that's very experienced over here, so we ought to be good. But looking forward to that. We want you to participate and come into our games. You can watch them live on TV on Ustream. I take that back, iHigh.com. And you can watch them live anywhere in America. But we appreciate our coaches, but most of all, we appreciate you supporting and watching Chipola College Television.